Hello, Judy here from Thistledew Creations. I've been having a fun morning. I got up early and started off slowly with some poppy stuff for Remembrance Day. Moved on to some non-traditional Christmas stuff, pink and blue Christmas stuff. And then I remembered that I have a swap that I'm involved in where I have to do 2 decorated pockets, one Christmas and one fall. And I had already moved on from fall, but I had to move back and do another fall thing today. And I really love the way it turned out. So I thought I would do another one and pop this somewhere in October or November. I still got a few days left in October that I can squeeze that in. So I did this little decorated pocket. It's just like this one. So it's 2 pockets. And I've left one side open so that you got another tuck spot there that you can get something in and out of easily. And then depending on how you put it down on the page, of course, you can have another pocket or tuck at the side or the top or the bottom. But I've decorated this up with 3 tags inside and another little fold out concertina writing spot with the sunflower paper, which there's no other sunflower stuff in here, but I just have a ton of this and it's fall, so it works. And then, so what I did on the very front of the pockets was I made another tuck spot. That's where this is tucked in. And I did that using this fall cardstock that I got from, I believe, Dollarama. And it's all cardstock in this particular book, and they were all embossed and fall colors. So I'm sure it's in one of my hauls. If you want to go back and watch my dollar store hauls playlist. So there's our little package. And so I've also have some teal velvet. So I used the teal velvet on there as well. So I thought I would do another one because I really love the way it turned out. And I do want to gift it to my swap partner. So I want to have another one for myself. And so I'm just making sure I have another. Yeah, I've got a couple more of these little pumpkin cutouts. They're not all the same, but I thought I would do an ATC while I'm at it here. So I'll just leave those out. And I'm going to use the same materials because my goal here is to get another one of these. I can make many more variations of it, I know. So on this one, the left side was the open side. On this one, it's the right side. So I've already started to cut this out when I realized I should wait and do it with you. So I'm doing a jagged edge on this one. The other one I had left that edge straight on the orange paper. And then I'm going to tear it. And I'm going to tear it so that there's a white edge, which sometimes people feel is the undesirable way, but I want that really dark edge on there that I'll get from inking that. So I can go over it a couple of times to get it the darkness that I want. But I really love the way that looks. And it's almost a shame to use this paper because I'm covering so much of it up. But it's fall now and I've got a whole package of this paper and I haven't even torn into it yet. So I figured I might as well use it, not hoard it. So I'm getting my edges nice and dark. Using ground espresso. I've yet to get the scorched timber. I wouldn't mind getting some. I might, when I take a break and give my body a rest from this office chair later, I might go to my hammock and do some Amazon shopping, get some scorched timber. I do need to also get some refills for my archival inks. Either get new ones or get so you can really see the embossing when you ink it. Makes a big difference. But yeah, I would like this nice and dark. I've already inked my pockets. I inked a bunch of them last night. This is about half of what I inked last night. So that's why my archival ink is a little bit slow to work today, because I've maybe dried it out a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to move, actually I'm going to leave that over. It's not going to be the same as that one. It's going to be a little different. They always are. So I'm going to ink the two edges that I did with the ripple scissors, so that it becomes a tuck spot on the front of the pockets. I am just leaving a bit of a border along each side there. I like the way that looks. And then what I did was I put this teal velvet. And this is from, I thought this was from my upholstery fabric scraps, but I don't think it is. It's a bigger piece, and I don't really remember where I got it. But I did find that this piece had the cut edge, and I much prefer the torn edge, so I'm going to just tear a piece for you. I'm going to do it fairly thin. I don't want it taking over, but I really want the accent of this teal behind the teal pumpkins. It's slightly darker, but that's okay. Slightly greener too, but once I ink those, they turn a little more green, see? Those were the same as that when they were fresh, before I aged them. And then this, I can just do a little snip and a tear, and then just sort of pull on the end and it frays it. And then I'm not going to take this all the way over, because this is like open all the way down, so I don't want to close it up any further. I'll put this just here, so I'll cut it there, cut it and tear it so that it frays. I'm making quite a mess here today with all the fraying that I'm doing. I was working with eyelash yarn earlier, so it's bad. I'm going to put that down about there. So I'm just going to go like this with my tacky glue and set that right down into it. Smooth it out a bit, but I'm leaving the frayed edges unglued. Give this a bit of a haircut here. And then I think maybe this one, so I can still see this pumpkin up here. So this needs, what I did here was I have, because this is sitting up on the velvet, okay, this is too flimsy and I don't want to press it down. I want to leave that dimension to it. So I put another little square of the velvet up at the top, and I backed this with two more pieces. So the first layer was this small piece of scrapbook paper thickness. So I want to ink this first, so I get the edges of it really dark. And that has been fussy cut with my ripple scissors. Fussy rippled. And then just a little bit all over to give those pumpkins a little more depth so they're not so bright. So I'm going to glue that down onto the scrapbook paper. Trying to not waste any. Let's get this up in here. This is the only piece of this that I have. We got it in the swap and I just love it. It's kind of a shame to use it like this because you're covering most of it, but it is doing the job that I need it to do, and that is just accentuating this, these blue pumpkins, giving them a little more presence. So you see I fussy cut around it. Now that's awfully small, but I'm going to save it for today. I'll probably end up tossing it at the end of the day, but I might need more right now. So ink that edge. I love layering stuff like this. It makes it different. Even the person that made that digital might not immediately recognize it because it's been transformed quite a bit. And then I put it onto some craft cardstock. Again, I'm not using much of a border, so I don't have to get too close. I can get quite close to the edge. And this is just giving it more sturdiness too. The book page pockets themselves are not very sturdy because they're just single thickness. I might do a batch where I glue the 2 pages together and then fold them, just so they're a little more sturdy. I just sat one night and made book page pockets and used up a whole book, just because I've got so many books lately that I could never possibly use all of them. So I thought, well, I'm going to tear into a book. I'm going to use it up because I've already got a whole box full of books that I can grab the odd page from. And, you know, you can only have so many. So I thought I'm going to use a whole book up just for book pages. I don't even know which book I think it might have been a nature book or something like that. So give that a really good inking, and then figure out where it's going to sit here. And then I'll just put another little piece of this blue up here. Again, I don't want to cover that that pumpkin completely up, but I'll just grab another little piece of this. I've got another one already cut into a tiny little square. I think I do. Doesn't need to be very much. Just need it poking out there, or I could even have it completely in behind on this one. It just puts it at the right height. So I'm just going to hide this one in behind. Again, just a little different than the other one was. That's okay. So then I'll put glue along the bottom edge here and just on this little pad that's going to hold it up off the page. And I like the way that gives it dimension, because there is a little gap between this brown paper and this orange paper because of that piece of velvet that's underneath it. I just love that. Okay, and then before we go on, I've started to do these ones where I cut up my master boards. So this was a collage that I did on cereal box, and then I backed it with coffee dyed paper. So it's quite sturdy as a card. And I kind of just started to contradict myself because I always said that I should always round the corners, and most of my ATCs so far have had rounded corners. But I did a few with ink where I didn't round the corners, and I liked the look of it. So when the card is sturdy enough, like these are, like you'd have a hard time really damaging that corner. So when they're sturdy enough and it suits me, I'm going to allow myself to do some square corners. So I'm just inking. And we go fairly fast, kind of like you get in the groove, like when you're peeling carrots or peeling potatoes, you go kind of fast. Just get it done. And I want the back plain. I want the music's up and down as much as possible. I got some sideways there. And I'm going to still make a little pocket on the back. Do it like, maybe I'll make my pocket this way. No, this is the front. So what do I want to do here? I think I'll go this way. I'm going to mostly cover this. I don't want to cover all the music. scrap of paper, make myself a scrap of paper in this case, because this is a brand new piece of paper today. Didn't come out of a scrap drawer. These are the colors I only use at this time of year. I know people that like them all the time. For me, they're just fall and Halloween. And I am going to ink the face of that, even though it's mostly going to be covered. I just think it's so pretty how it brings out that embossing. And I want you to see that too. So you go from that to that. And then I'm going to just glue down the two rippled sides and let the torn side be au naturel. I don't usually put a pocket on the front of an ATC, but today we are. There's no rules. And then the little tag that I'll put in there will be one of those teal tags. And I don't need as many layers here, but I am going to put teal in behind it. I don't think I need the brown in behind it because I'm not going to leave it up. If I do, I do want to use a little bit of this. A little skinny bit. I got to keep my pieces a little smaller on an ATC, but I do want a little bit of this velvet. I love my ATCs to be kind of tactile. Oh, that's not tearing very well in a thin strip. Where did it go? Try tearing it off of a wider piece. There we go. See all the little bits it gives me? Fun. So I'll put that underneath it, like that, or on top of it. I'll put this underneath. So I'm gonna ink this up. And I would give credit, but I was a bit of a free printable junkie when I first started this, and I didn't keep track of where anything came from. I do apologize if this is yours. It would have been a free one though, because that's all I really printed out. I'm gonna print that or stick that right down without anything else underneath it, I think. And then I'll put the little blue velvet over top of it. That'll be plenty of layers for an ATC. That over just a touch. And again, it is covering most of the embossing on there, but I think it's all right. I say it's all right, so it is all right. And then I want this about that long. And I'll just free the edge with my fingers. And glue that down. And I want to leave the orange below it exposed. And then I have a bunch of these little tags started. So this definitely wants a teal tag. So I have one here, but it'll have to be, I guess that's okay. I could trim it up just a little. I don't mind if it sticks out a tiny bit. That's only going into about there. So I'm just going to take like a 1/4 inch off of it. Or so. And then I'm going to round the corners and ink it, and I want you to see how much it changes when you ink it. Even though it's a dark color, you wouldn't think it would matter much. So here's one that's uninked. And look what happens. Look how gorgeous that is. So I thought I would make an ATC to send along with the pocket that I'm sending the person. I don't have my partner yet, but I think they're being assigned today. So I'll be able to get it in the mail on Monday, which is great. And then I will also ink the back because it's very white. And I do ink the edges first so that they get hit a couple of times. Gives me this sort of shadow line all the way around the outside, but because this is embossed, I want to do the whole thing anyway, like so that you can see that embossing. And then I haven't put any protectors on these. I should. I might do, might find some dark teal paper, or black, or dark brown paper, and make some protectors for them. I really like that. And I'll just put my Thistledew Creations label on. I'm going to ink this one. I don't always ink these because these ones are printed on coffee dyed paper. But I feel like inking it this time. And I used to put them on just with glue stick because it's so much easier. But I did find that some of them that I had here for a while, when I went to mail them out, they had come up. They didn't stay stuck. So I've started using the tacky glue and given it a little rub. And I don't feel like that's going to lift. And then I'll just sign this. And I could sign that too, but I don't think so. I think it's fine. Unsigned. I will sign the little pocket though, maybe on the back. Okay, so there's that for that person. And then let's just see if we want to do anything else to this. Over on this one, I added this little thing up in the corner. It would have to go in this corner on this one because this is the open side, unless I kept it just on the face here. But I'm probably going to want to stick something in here, so it can't be too dimensional if I do that. And then I've got brown that can go in. Actually, I had the little concertina pocket. And then I have the brown one in this tuck spot. And then I had a bigger teal one in the back. So I'm going to make another teal one. I think this is tall enough. We'll make it be tall enough. So that one was the widest size, 2.5 inches. So I think I'm going to make a couple while I'm at it here. So I'll set this paper to 2.5 inches here. And then make sure it's straight along the top. And cut one. Two. And 3. I have another sheet of this paper in the paper pad, so I'm going to go ahead and finish this off. And then I might be able to make a couple more of these sets after I'm done filming. And this one leaves me a 2-inch one, which is one of the sizes that I can also do with my punch. Give me 1 second. Okay, so stick this in here and punch. I'll just do a couple and see what I did on this one was I know that on a tag this narrow, I'm not going to want it that long. So I punched both ends and then I can cut it in half later. I can cut it to length later to whatever I need for a particular project. This is never very far away from me anyway, but at least not when I'm here. I love this color. I love being able to use it for Halloween or fall theme. Okay. So this one that I want for in behind here. That's good. So I've got my 3 different tags. I'm going to make this brown one just a little shorter. Not much. Just so that I get a better cascading of them there. And then something to go in here. Oh, I was going to do another little concertina. So this is paper. It's not snowflake. Sunflower paper comes out of this Ann Getty's photo album. And so I've just been tearing the pages out. I'm going to go through and tear all of the pages out, I think, and make the paper into things instead of having it stored like this. It's something I can do in front of the television. So that gives me too rough of an edge there for my liking, so I'm going to cut that off. I mean, I could just ink it, but I think I'm just going to do this. And I can also use this for swaps and Happy Mail too, all this paper. And that can be a little on the wide side. So let's do like here. So I'm just going to measure how far I'm doing here. So if I go, if I hold that on the edge there and I go to the 7, just so I keep myself reasonably straight all the way up here. And see, it has these holes, so I'm just avoiding them. I'm not going to draw a line. I'm just going to make sure that I'm aiming for that 7 so that I stay reasonably straight. And once I've got it folded into the concertina shape, I can always trim it up if one edge is hanging over a little bit. This is just keeping me something to aim for so that I don't go too far off of straight. And then I'm even doing the ends with the ripple. By the time you're done, you don't even recognize it. I liked this paper because although I do like sunflowers, most of the sunflower papers and stuff that I see is just a little bright for my liking. I don't really care for it. So when I saw this with the more muted background, I went, ooh, I could use that. And then I'm just kind of back and forth in it. And the other piece that I had in the other one had the double thick edge on it. This one doesn't, and I think I'm going to like this better. So I'm wanting those 2 edges to line up. So I'm being careful about that. And if I needed to, I would trim this. So as I said, I've got, this is just a little off here. So I'm just going to go in and take that from 1/8 inch to nothing. And then it doesn't stick out. And then I'll go in and ink everything. So I'll ink all of these edges, all of these creases on both sides, so that it looks like this. And it's a place to write a list, or just a letter, or a story, or whatever. And that'll fit in this pocket. And I'll have it with the inked edges showing. And I could, you know, I could repeat that back in here as well. We'll see. But I just wanted to have another one before I give one away, because it seems like I make things and I just give it away and I never keep one for myself. So it gives me another one to have and to play with, help me remember the idea, and also to have another one at the ready if someone else is doing another Halloween swap or another fall swap, kind of at the last minute, because it is still fall. It's not winter yet. I think though it's that somewhere towards the end of November is when winter really starts. So let's prolong fall as long as we can, right? So I'm going to go ahead and do this same idea. This one isn't quite as wide, and I'm not going to add the orange strip, but I am going to add the little leaf. It's a little metallic copper leaf from Dollarama. It comes in a bag. This isn't the bag that it comes in, but it comes in a bag of 3 colors, red, copper, and gold, with maple leaves. And I just like the way that looks with the teal and the brown and the orange. So for that, I'm going to use a little bit of the 3-in-1. I'm going to put it right onto the fabric. And set that into it. I got to be careful. You don't want to get it on the face of the copper leaf because it takes the finish off them. It's an acetone base. I found doing it that way works. So that's sort of the opposite of this one, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. And I'll get the rest of it inked up and put some maybe dark brown on the blue and black on the brown for the hole protectors, and then I will have that picture for you in the thumbnail. So I hope you've enjoyed seeing this last little fall project. I think it's going to be the last one because I'm really into Christmas now. So like, comment, share, subscribe, but most of all, have a great day.